Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vitality Couch podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Here with me, Andre, um, are Yanis and Fahed. We are in this project Vitality in Vagamondo, in Bergolo, a small village in the Alta Langa region of Piemonte, north of Italy. It's a place quite isolated, very much in nature. So we are here actually to create a space, I will say, to open a conversation. First of all, between us, but also to kind of open the window of what is happening here, what we are creating, what ideas we have, insights, to the outside. But actually, I will say, what do you think about this?
First of all, I want to say thank you for having this beautiful idea and having the initiative to create a safe space. I would say that would also be on the outside. We are having this conversation from a long time ago, but now this conversation that we have, which we see that are really creative, they are really kind of I would not say revolutionary, but I would say creative and inspirational. So again, thank you for creating this space and for having this brilliant idea of having this podcast.
It's a pleasure.
And you said what do we think about
The intention, like what is the reason why it's important for you to have this conversation, to have this podcast? Because for me, it comes from actually the original idea didn't really come from me, came from you. And I just felt connected to it in the past weeks, and I really wanted to put it out. But what does it mean for you, this creating this space and opening up to the outside?
I think it's like you mentioned, it's the opening the conversation. It's getting people in one room, in our case, in the same couches, and getting them to talk about what's going on in their minds. Like, for me, I see it as a space where I can share my insights or what I have experienced or what has happened here in the past 6 months, which has been a lot. So I see this like a huge opportunity to share not only our thoughts but our voices to someone who is in our home countries or someone who is in the next city, next village, or in next country, and to see what are they saying about our thoughts, like where is our conversation leading, and maybe it can spark a new idea, let's say, or new concept. Someone just listens to what I'm saying or babbling right now and comes up with their own comment about it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, that's to see what is the feedback or what is coming back to this.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, and actually, now I think about it, I didn't really say, what are we doing here? So, yeah.
yeah, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Why are we here?
Also, to add on what Yanis said, I would say that what we are doing here as volunteers, the intention of us being here, sometimes seeing it from the outside without knowing what is happening on the inside, you say, what a crazy intention, what a crazy initiative. You go to this country, you stay for 1 year, you don't get paid because you're a volunteer, no, normally. Why are you doing this? So I'm kind of wanted to share with the people outside that okay, what we are doing here is more visible for them. So I'm not being considered for myself being as a crazy person that is doing this crazy thing. That doesn't give me the thing that normal people do. Let's call it like this. It's not a normality, but it's becoming a normality, which is a good thing. So while sharing these insights that we're having here, the interior discussion, the lifestyle, maybe some of the passion, to share it on the outside. So to say that we are not crazy by doing this, to say that we are doing this to empower ourselves, to empower our decision, to empower our individuality, to create our individuality. You know, maybe it's too late for people, for someone that is 30 years old almost, but
Yes.
nevertheless, it does come in a moment of life that, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I need a method to do this and that, so it's a good opportunity to have this, to show the world also that it could be a good tool. I'm not crazy. We are not crazy for doing this.
Stop repeating it.
Well, you know, we all have our problems, so no, crazy is good. I mean, good crazy.
Yeah.
In this case, not a good crazy, but usually when I say crazy, it's good crazy. You know.
Yeah.
Like Bukowski said, we all go mad together. Let's go all. No, how was it? Yeah, something like that. Let's go mad together tonight or something like that. And being a crazy or in a way of. Crazy expressions to feel free from all the conceptions and to express yourself as you wish without having this censored lifestyle.
To be not prisoner of normality.
Oh yeah.
Concept of
this. Yeah, let's. Okay, we are deviating from the main subject that we want to talk about.
Actually, I wanted to say something, which is, well, for people that don't know anything about who we are or what we're doing, give a bit of context. We are here. It's basically creating kind of an experiment of many experiments that are happening around Europe, which is the volunteering service connected with Erasmus. And Yanis and Fahed are here with other volunteers in Bergolo, a small group actually of volunteers, creating their own learning experience, experimenting with what the tools that are provided by the organization Vagamondo. And they are accompanied, luckily or unluckily, by the lovely coordinator Andre, which is me, in this adventure.
It's an adventure indeed.
And the nice thing is that also for me, I've done this volunteering last year. This year is maybe even more an opportunity for learning, especially from them, from you.
Yes.
And in the past months, I really felt this a lot, that by creating this kind of community, in a way, like of communication and connection between us, it's been really empowering for me personally to do what I want to do and to discover new approaches, new way, new mindsets. How has it been for you? The fact that for 9 months or 6 months you have been here with people that have completely different background from you, and what has been, I don't know, like the biggest challenge or the biggest success?
The biggest challenge here, I would say only this, and maybe I will leave the word to Yanis. To give the ball to Yanis, as we say before. Ball. We talk, we have the ball, maybe, I don't know, but let's not do this now. Challenge is yet to come, I would say, because now we just finished doing all the projects. A lot of youth exchanges and training happened here during the summer, and now after all of these, I think the biggest challenge is yet to come. Because not only because of the autumn, depression season, it's also because now it's the time to take a decision for the next era, for the next, now, what to do next.
Next phase of life.
Yes. So how has it been for the last 9 months? Well, like I always said before when this question was addressed to me, ups and downs. Good moments and bad moments. A lot of things that I learned, a lot of things that I gave, a lot of things that I gained from this experience. But still, there were some bad moments where You know, you come to this new country, you meet new people, lovely people, you create a communication, a lot of methods, a lot of activities that really help to to have a powerful communication and an honest one for sure. The downs could be a bit difficult, especially in Bergamo because it's a small town. So if you feel lonely, you can't go outside and start, have a conversation with a random person. You will have. It could be a good thing also because you have to stay with this feeling and to face it rather than distracting yourself with the modern world lifestyle. Let's say we don't have it here in Bergamo. Okay, we have internet, but we are working on the internet, so preferably is to go outside and to have a direct face-to-face conversation. That was me describing the down.
The down part.
Yes. The upper part is learning a lot of tools that I can use to communicate better, to decide, to understand the freedom of decision, to take responsibility for that freedom. This is a thing that I learned by taking the first decision to come to Bergamo and to stay for 1 year for an Erasmus Plus project, ESC. And secondly, to understand all of these tools, whether it was from a workshop, or whether it was like informal education or non-formal education wise. We can explain this maybe later in another podcast. I don't know. Yes, more or less ups and downs. Let's stick to ups and downs. Yes, it's like a wave.
Yeah.
It goes up and it goes down, and sometimes the downs are very down, which is the scary part, which is yet to come, autumn and winter. Remember how was winter? How was winter at the beginning when we went here in January? 1 meter of snow, but still we created a common ground for all of us.
Yeah, and even though it was also the time of strong COVID regulation, so we couldn't really move out of Bergolo much. But still we created things. This lovely table was created earlier this year.
Yes, lovely table. We can put our things on it, our legs sometimes because it's not a precious one.
Exactly. And I feel this fact of changing things to do has helped.
I feel like being kind of a proactive all the time and trying to, I wouldn't say manipulate your environment, but to kind of interact with it. And to go to this question, how it was here for me for half a year, I would say this experience broke a lot of expectations I had. Not just about like how I saw things, but more about myself. Like I found ways to challenge my own beliefs and my own capabilities. Like I was imagining this experience a bit more romanticized, I would say, like really beautiful and all with rose petals and really welcoming and charismatic, but that wasn't the reality. Like, and I realized really quickly that it was something that I imagined, and that sometimes it's not the most healthiest thing to imagine one thing and to expect one thing and to really hold on to that ideal, because I'm really idealistic by nature, and I had this picture in my mind, and when that picture was conflicting with reality, I was like, okay, well, what is this? Where I am? And that caused a lot of downs, I would say, as Fahid said. For me, that was a down of feeling, oh, this is not what I imagined, and this is not something I really enjoy. But then it kind of this experience pushed me to become more proactive and let's say, and to become like okay with reality and be like, okay, this is not going the way I want to. It is far from things I imagined, but what can I do to change it, or what can I do to improve it? And I think this has been, I would say, the idea throughout this half a year, in my case, of what can I do to make things better, or what can I change to make things less sufferable, to make it more enjoyable or more pleasurable, not always just for me, but also for the people around me. And I see this space as a huge playground when you can experiment with the surroundings, like you said, Andre. We made this table. It came from our own minds of thinking of, well, it would be nice to have a coffee table, and a few weeks later, there's a coffee table, and it's painted and it's made by our hands, and it came from the idea of, okay, how can we improve this space? Of how can we can make this space more cozier or more lively, or and the same thing is happening in our flat and was happening in the projects, especially when there was a reflection groups and they all discussed how to make things better, and I think this I can feel this energy in this specifically that is around this self development and improvement and how can we as humans can make things better, not just for us but for the people around. And the most difficult part I think probably was to work in the kitchen. It became the bane of my existence. In the beginning, I had no idea that I can actually do it. I was really terrified because my cousin told stories about, not just stories, but I saw how stressed he came from work. And he works in the kitchen all the time. And I saw it as a place of stress and really like painful experience and which I don't want to experience. But then a few days into it, I realized, oh, it's not that bad. It's if I want it to be bad, it can easily be bad. But if I just come there with an open mind and try to enjoy the experience, it becomes more enjoyable. And I think this is back to the famous Erasmus saying that you create your experience, and this is what is mainly happening here.
It's nice that not only the good expectation can be wrong, but also the bad expectation.
Exactly. It's even if you expect something bad, it can turn out something really good. Or if you expect something really good, it can turn out really bad. So what I learned is that it's better to not have high expectations. So it's lesser disappointment if they don't fulfill themselves.
Mm-hmm. Also relating to that, what you said about when we build a table, we kind of also being influenced by the surrounding, the flat, all the flatmates, everyone living here. It's very inspiring. For example, also a tool that we are using is to have this morning sharing that we are having every day, working days of course. 9 in the morning, we talk about how do we feel. Mostly, how do we feel today in the morning? What do we need? Do we need support? If we need support, we can say it and we will get it because it's. Of course, we will get it because we are surrounded by supporting people now. And also the influence that we get on each other. For example, yesterday you said that you want to go to read, and it really inspired me to read, and I started to read this book. So, yeah, it's very important to understand that the role that we have, that we also can influence people. So to have this approach of being proactive, building the table, reading the book, doing something, using the tools that we are learning, creating workshops, working in the kitchen.
Yeah. For me, actually, I saw this more and more this year, how it's very important, like the type of people that we surround us with, but then also to remember I am a person that is surrounding someone else also. And depending on which kind of energy and attitude I'm bringing, it can really shape also the group.
Yeah, create our own experiences based on that. Really, it's a really good phrase actually. And it's not something that we are. Sorry. Go.
It's also about the awareness. You're in a group, and you feel how people are influencing you. You feel like you see what you somehow pick up the habits or the things they do, and convey them to yourself. But also, it takes a lot of practice or awareness or mindfulness to realize what is your influence on them. What are you bringing into that environment that is simultaneously influencing you at the same time? So it's kind of you're playing this game of ping pong in a way with your behavior and their behavior. You throw something at them and they throw something at you. And what is that you are throwing to that group? Is it something really helpful, something counterproductive? Like what is these things that you are bringing, you are sharing, and you are influencing others?
For sure, it's very important. So very important because the ball is coming back to you as well. So if you give it in an active way, in a productive way, constructive way for yourself and for the community that you did not choose to live in, because we did not choose the people here, and we came here and still, because no, in our daily life we choose the friends, we don't choose the parents for sure, but we choose the friends, we choose the environment that we are living in. But here we did not choose it. We came here and we met these people without us choosing them. And also, this coming back to the ping pong, very important what to give, then you receive.
You get what you give, in
You
a
get
way.
what
Right?
you give. Yeah, this is a really Christian way of thinking.
Is it? I am born Christian, so what to do?
Yeah, but no, like you said, you take one palm and you give the other.
You turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. But yeah, actually, looking back also, I had my moments these 9 months. In the beginning, full of enthusiasm, of bringing energy and bringing ideas, until I realized that at some point it was not working anymore for me. And then I went into the low and in the disconnection and in the almost not participating in this community. And then reconnecting back slowly until this point where I feel like there is this connection, this dialogue that is growing and can grow. And yeah, then it's like, wow, it's so inspiring to me to see my changes, your changes, the things that you can share, to then going back to why are we here, to share them with other people.
Yes.
And yeah, this for me is very inspiring, because then there are many people, especially in these COVID times, that
You're a scary ghost now.
yes,
Ooh.
that don't see a possibility of what to do or where to go or how to find a place of expressing and creating something. And this, to me, this volunteering experience is kind of like, as you said, Yanis, a playground, a simulation of life.
Yes, simulation of life.
Because you have some aspects that you don't need to be too much worried about, like you have a roof over your head, you have some money, not so much, but you can survive easily, and sometimes you can also have a bit of fun. And you meet people that are completely different from you, and then you have to choose if you want to survive, you want to live, or you want to really live your life and see what you can create.
Yeah, it's like this reminds me, what you're saying reminds me of the Maslow's pyramid. Like the base layer is of your basic needs. So here in this live simulation, your basic needs are pretty much covered. And you have one layer of needs that you don't really need to think about.
No bills, no.
Yeah, no bills, no utilities to pay, no nothing. So it's like kind of in a way it's taken care for you. Sure, you have to do some things and be a little bit responsible, but not full way responsible for these basic needs of having food, water, shelter. And then what next thing comes is kind of like a psychological, kind of interacting with other people. So this what we're doing now is just talking and sharing ideas and being influenced and inspired from the others. and after that follows like what do I do, who I am, what I do like to do. And here in this S program, that is question or the topic that's thrown a lot around of what I want to do. Like what the things I want to pursue, because sometimes we are given the things that we don't really want to do, but we just do them because they need to be done for something. I don't know, for a job or for a parent or for a friend or for a partner. But here it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to do this. Well, but then comes back the question, but what do you want to do? And then you kind of start thinking of, okay, if I don't want to do this, I maybe want to do that, and then kind of finding solutions. So I think this space kind of opens people to be more creative, kind of to tap into that creativity and be like, okay, this is not what I enjoy. How can I link things together so I start to enjoy it, or maybe I can take something from it and add something else and then come up with something different.
Yeah, because in life actually it happens that if you have a job and many people have a job that they don't like, but they stick to it because somehow the idea that they can just leave or find a different way to approach it doesn't even cross the mind. And yeah, here there is this uh, support in a way. Sometimes it works very well, sometimes it works uh, halfway, but it's still there, and it gives the space for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Is
for
it
sure.
working or is it not working?
And imagine if you're out of this X program and you're in a, let's say, real life situation, and you gotta work to pay the bills. And if you don't like the work you do, you can't suddenly just drop it and leave it without having any kind of savings or anything like that, because you have the flat that has to be paid for. So it creates a certain amount of anxiety of, I cannot really just drop everything here because I don't like it, because that is kind of I need it to keep my basic needs covered. While here on yes, those basic needs are covered, so there's not this anxiety of, okay, where do I find a job if I suddenly stop doing these things I don't like to do? So there's this space of, okay, I can stop doing them, but sure there'll be someone asking you why did you stop doing them, but there will be less this anxiety of trying to survive or trying to feed yourself.
So what you're trying to say is like if you have the opportunity to have a full life of Erasmus S projects, you will go for it.
That'll be
Well,
like
that means that you are kind of subtle, let's say, with the okay, we have just the need. I mean, okay, we just need a bit of money to survive, and that's it. And have like a long, very long. Let's say 10 years of volunteering.
I would say that for me, at some point, it will just be boring. Like,
It will be
and
boring.
that already now I'm seeing it as I was seeing it last year for my ask. Um, there are challenges, there are things to do, and creativity spaces for creativity. But at some point, I think is in the human nature to want something more.
To change or to want something more, to literally want something more.
or to have a challenge.
Yeah, something more, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about money. It can be about challenges, it's stimuli, like to be stimulated.
But why not doing it in this frame, for example? I mean, why? Okay, you said you can get bored. Why getting bored in this frame? Let's say if it's for long term, and not getting bored on the outside. Let's say.
I mean, for example, I will say to make this experience more exciting, if you have been a volunteer for 5 years with all your needs covered and so on, like you are an expert volunteer.
Expert volunteer. Yeah, the master's degree is in volunteering. Wow.
Exactly. But then at this point, I'm like, for me, I cannot see how you can make it more exciting unless you create your own organization where you are kind of a volunteer there because you are working for the organization, and maybe you are starting to manage other volunteers to create other opportunities for others, like if you really like that context.
Okay.
But then I see this as a ladder, as steps, and as a path of transition. Also because what you were saying before, Jan, is about um, you cannot really live without the anxiety and like in case of a job, because the basic needs are not covered. But still, I think, especially in the past decades, there have been many examples of people actually doing that. And now there are many opportunities uh, to really leave your job and start traveling and creating something different. Of course, it's much more scary, I would say, um, but it can be done. And in this sense, I see this space is I can see it as a very good transition between a super safe life when we are teenagers
or young
people,
adults.
young adults, with everything is provided by our family, and maybe the only thing that are asked of us is to study or
Do our chores, clean the house.
exactly, like not big responsibilities. But then, yeah, of course, getting a job, buying a house, building, creating a family, which is the canonical way of living, the traditional,
the must.
which now it's a bit outdated from, I would say, the majority of people.
Yes.
Of the new generation.
Yes. I think it's what changes more of the range, the age range. I mean, people were doing this when they were in the 20s. Now they're doing this when they're in the 30s. So it just postpones something that is inevitable. More or less, I would say. Now, you mean now in the time of COVID, it could be also, it could have an effect of this traditional way of, having a family and having kids, I think nowadays is a responsibility, the civic responsibility to think twice before taking this huge step. Do we want or no to create this traditional life in a, let's call it dystopian world? Yeah.
Yeah, I see this also as a kind of, as we have entered this new millennia, and we have a lot more time and space to express ourselves, to look inside ourselves of what we actually want as individuals. I think also many people discover that they don't want to go directly to this old style family and job and so on, but they want to. Many people, me included, I want to create space to explore the world, to travel, to discover new cultures. And yeah, the European volunteering has been together with the Erasmus project a great space to do this. And now somehow I have this feeling of, okay, but what if I also, as again many people have done before me, take 6 months, 1 year of sabbatical style, and I travel, I do work away, or just find whatever I can find in Europe, or if I want to be more exotic, in Asia, or places like this.
Yeah.
And I feel this has been growing more and more. And so for this, I see, this volunteering is kind of like a stepping stone for going back to the more classical style job, family, but with more safety, more independence. like, or going for more challenging even contexts where the basic freedom, the basic needs are totally not covered. But yeah, after 1 year where you build yourself stronger, more independent, you also have the confidence to tackle it.
Do you mean after having this experience, or before having this experience, or during this experience?
Like during this experience, you are building on yourself more confidence, more independence.
I totally agree. Also, it's kind of empowering this individuality, to understand the freedom of responsibility, to understand that that whatever you do now, it's on you, it's for you, and it's on you, and it's just for you at the end. So, beside the decision of becoming a volunteer, also what you do here is for you at the end.
Yeah.
So you can make your life a living hell. You create it. It could be bad. It could be good. It depends on personal ways of seeing it, bad or good. And also it's a big influence for the future, let's say, because you're building something during this experience. You're learning maybe a new skill, and we learn to build stuff. So I can eventually I know now how to use a drilling machine. Before, I did not know how to use a drilling machine. I was looking at it like an alien object. What is this? How can I use it? And now we do it. We build the shelves. We build many things. This is one of the many skills that we gained. We did also, if you remember, we did this school presentation, online school presentation. Also, very powerful impact. To prepare all of this to take this responsibility that, okay, I'm going to present Erasmus Plus project, the organization, how is it impacting me, all of this, to some youngsters, 30 of them, online, which is even more difficult. This is a skill gaining procedure that it's not a promotional podcast, no?
We're not promoting.
Come to us.
But yes, we are.
We have shirts.
We are talking about our own experiences,
Yeah, I think in the end, all of us agreed to come here. It wasn't anyone forcing us to go here. We voluntarily agreed to come here, and now I realized after you talking and sharing that it's kind of like we have this space, the safe space environment, like the creative and mixed culture space where we can invest in ourselves, like where we can find the things like you said, we develop our skills in a different things. For me, the talk with the youngsters was terrifying, but after the first try or first two tries of doing it, I felt more confident of doing it further on. So that was already like investment in my public speaking, even if it was just through the screen. And now I feel more confident to do it in a public or in a familiar setting. And I think this is again, it's not a promotional podcast or speech, but yes, I see this like a huge opportunity for young people, those who are before 30, unfortunately.
Or 30.
Or 30.
Or 31.
Or, yeah, sometimes. But, yeah, because when I was 18 or 20 years old, I didn't heard about this thing. It wasn't accessible for me. I only, like a few years ago, I discovered that people go to these, back then it was called volunteering service, and they came with all these crazy stories of them living in Spain for a year, and me as a Latvian, I heard it and I was like, what did you do there? Like, and I saw them, they were all with these crazy ideas, and I was like, what did that place change you to come back with all these sorts of ideas? And they seemed super confident about what they were doing. Even to me, it looked, I would be terrified if I tried to do whatever they were doing. So I was like, okay, this seemed like empowering experience for me. And with this, I'm just trying to maybe reach to people who are not aware of this or aware of this, but are really scared to go here because they don't know what is happening here, what is really an ESC, what is really inside there. So with this, I see as a huge opportunity to actually kind of shine light on what is going on in this volunteering experience, even though every volunteering experience will be different.
Well, you said that you got inspired by those people that went to participate in the volunteering service. You got the inspiration from them, and then you started to get interested into the subject. How do I find it? Where do I find it? What can I get out of it? Also, I can say my personal experience here. Before coming here, I decided to come here because I was here 2 years ago in a basic synergy training. And then I saw the ad last year. I applied, I get accepted, and the decision of coming here was terrifyingly difficult. Terrifyingly, because you going through a change, you go into another country for 1 year, very difficult. But then I started to have a more clear, from very blurry intention and mindset into a more clear one, which is based on, like we said, I think from the first week we talked about it, how to, this is my experience, how to take an idea and transform it into a reality. And because of my lifestyle, my way of thinking, my lack of some skills, or not ideas, I have ideas, but the gap between an idea and a reality was very big. And the intention for me to come here, it became even more clear when I understood that I need to find how I fill this gap between idea and reality. And yes, a lot of things, many ideas, many skills again that really organizational also. How to organize this workshop, how to organize this project, how to build a communication for the project Enjoy Eat, for example. Building the menu for another project. All of these kind of organizational things. That this is the effect. I had the intention, and now I'm kind of not getting good at it, but getting better at understanding this gap between idea and reality. And I think the effect it will not come instantly. It will take a bit of time to get implemented in my own habits, let's say, or in my own lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think, it's all connects. Basically, it's all based on this method of learning by doing.
Learning
Because
by doing.
now going back to, I think, by what you are both saying, it comes really strongly out why we are doing this. And there is also not just the aspect of for others to share with people that maybe don't know anything about the volunteering, or that don't know anything about what we are doing specifically here. But I will say that the first and foremost, what we are doing here is for us, because who here has experience in creating a podcast?
Well, not me. I don't know.
No.
Me neither.
But you took experience in.
Yes, well, we will see from the feedbacks of this first episode,
Yes,
maybe.
yes.
But to me, it's like really great that we had this idea. It took some time. It took some pushing and saying, okay, whatever is gonna come out, it's gonna come out. And here we are. We are creating it, and we have been talking for more than 40 minutes already, and I loved every minute of it. And some people are gonna like it, some people are not gonna like it. That's come second. That the fact that we are enjoying it, I hope you are also enjoying it. Maybe you'll tell me later, no?
Later I will tell you.
Yeah.
There will be the explicit content.
You will have the blooper section where you say, fuck, I don't.
Oh, we can't say this word. Oh no.
They're gonna censor us. I think this was also the idea why we wanted to start it, because we didn't want to be censored, and we wanted to share really in unscripted way what we're thinking or what are our ideas. Like, it doesn't matter if sometimes we swear, one word in a 20-minute context.
Yeah.
I think it's quite human to, even if you consider this an error, it's still human. I mean, we all make mistakes. Even you consider the swear word a mistake, that's okay.
Even this, I would call it also a skill. We're having all this kind of. I talked only about this, I think. to have these new skills, to have these new tools, to have all those kind of experiences during the ESC. This is one of them. I mean, it's taking a lot. You know, you're giving, you're being how do you call it? More not concerned, but more careful with what you say and how you say, but not in a censored way. Not to be careful for what you say, but kind of it leads to this art of conversation to don't stick to a yes. Like you asked me, how do you feel about being here? Good. You know, good is not enough because good is never
Good can
enough.
be many things.
Good is never
Yeah.
enough, and then it takes a bit of an effort to elaborate this good. You know, what does it mean? Is it an entire? Is it an absolute good? Which yeah, I don't think it is. But it takes an effort to have it, and I think this effort builds a skill, builds empowers a skill. You know that doing it more and more, this good you will use it in a everyday life. You know, when someone asks you how you feel, good is not gonna be the answer, or fine. You know, you can say bad, and then
But then
from bad
explore
you
it.
to explore it to say why I'm feeling bad because of this, because of that, and then this is a build-up. This is a community build-up at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, to share the message, to say what you want to say, to elaborate it. No more good or fine or bad as an answer. You know,
I love it. I love it.
it builds it up. You know,
To,
getting
to,
a
to make
skill.
it more clearer what is good and what is bad. For me,
Yeah,
bad could be different bad from your point of view.
for sure. Yes, I
So
totally agree.
And also, yeah, they lack um, the details of what is actually behind the word.
Yeah, they like the passion.
Yeah.
They like the passion, the details, all
I
kind
love
of
the
things that makes us human. You know.
Yes, are we human?
Yes,
No, we are
human.
just a simulation.
Yeah,
that is conversation for a different day.
yeah. Talk about aliens and.
Yeah, we will have a very wide range of topics in this podcast. We will see about that in the future. But yeah, actually, what do you say, guys? We are good?
I think
Which is
we're
not.
This is it's a
Oh,
good comeback, you know.
it's a good.
Yes, I think I am okay. I am
So,
normal.
Yes.
Satisfied with the conversation
Yeah.
because it takes an effort.
Yes. For me, I really enjoyed this kickstart of this uh, child of us
Yes.
that we are creating. And I'm really happy that it's happening.
Thank you for creating this again, and thank you for taking the initiative to build it.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for the space. And we finally came to the idea of making a podcast. I don't know. It feels a huge yes. Like yes, we found a space to press the play button and start talking. It's such a simple action, but it can be paralyzing sometimes to
Yeah.
just to press it and start like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
But it's really that simple. Just press the button and it
just
starts.
do it.
It's nice.
Yeah. And
Cool. Great.
build
Thank
on
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who has been listening. See you next time for Vitality Couch. Yoo-hoo!
Nice. Cool. It's okay.
Good job. I don't know.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
job.
Cool. Now let's say fuck shit.
Fuck, shit.
Now we can
Dick,
swear.
pussy,
Dick,
fuck,
pussy,
fuck,
dick,
fuck.
shit, sick, dick,
Fuck
pussy,
you.
shit. Motherfucker.